start. Let me start directly with a question for you. So, and I really hope that it would work. Yes, definitely. So what would you do if you have to organize a team building activity for a young data science team directly after all the COVID measurements were gone? Or what is a nice giveaway to give away at the induction of at an event of a new professor in EI? And we also would like to achieve some publicity around it. Or what would be an interesting topic for here, for a TEDx talk to speak about? Or what about attracting students for studying EI? You may shout, one word, 4 letters. Beer, of course. If you don't shout, I can shout. It's all about beer. So let's see how we started this story. So it was actually directly after COVID, and together with our Cadastre data science team, we entered a pub the first time, and you all know all great inventions start at the pub. So we got an idea, and basically we read this paper about Eltje, who brewed a beer based on data science and AI. But to be honest, we thought it was a little bit fake. It's more marketing, and it was not, in our opinion, we didn't see the real connection between the data science, the AI part, and the actual beer that has been brewed. And after a couple of beer, and even after a couple of beer afterwards, we were even more convinced that we could do a better job. Of course, we can talk about it, but we also can actually try it. So we gave it the first attempt, the first try. And luckily at Medium, there was a good paper about how to brew a beer with artificial intelligence. And we took that approach, and we created an XGBoost model based on a bit of input recipes from BrewDog. They have published 201 recipes open online, and combined them with potential Untappd scores. For Untappd, for the ones that don't drink beer, it's a rating app for beer. And then a second step, we created 1 million recipes, all the potential combinations in the recipes of BrewDog, and predicted based on the XGBoost model what the potential score would be if you would combine it. And then we went to a brewer here in Nijmegen, and well, first he laughed at us, like all the combinations that we created were a little bit funny, were really like conflicting and not bringing good beer in the end. But in the end, he said we selected one recipe in the top 10 of created recipes that would potentially be a good beer. And we brewed that beer. We did some more EI, so we created a picture on the label with DALL-E, and we created some text with ChatGPT, including the hallucinations. Sometimes the hallucinations can be nice. And in the end, we did we had already the energy consumption from the EI, so we thought maybe we should make it a little bit more sustainable by replacing foreign ingredients with the local ones. And we did all a steam activity, actually we brewed the beer, the bottled, and of course the tasting, the best part, we did it all ourselves. And we created the beer. So this is it, het perceeltje. And of course we did it with the Cadastre data science team. So Cadastre is the land registry of the Netherlands. So this is a land surveyor who measures land. Normally now he measures beer. And you can also read about the hallucination, about beer taking over the world, always nice. So we succeeded. Lessons learned, in short, it can be done. You can use AI beer, and it's actually really fun to do so with your AI team. Great story so far. But then the predicted score based on EI model was 4.3. That's what you now actually see in Untappd, that we kind of scored at 3.4. And even myself and my friends were a little bit over enthusiastic in our scoring, or maybe we tried to influence the other ones a little bit to improve the scoring a little bit, but basically we didn't really succeed in that. But to put it positively, I think the taste of the beer was quite specific or special, you can give it a call, but it has at least room for improvement. But we done it. So then we got a new professor at the Han, me, and for the induction event we needed a nice giveaway. So we thought, let's give it a second try. now with a team of Han colleagues and students. And of course, we want to have more AI than we already did, and maybe a little bit over the top AI. But we also learned from the first iteration that maybe a little bit more craftsmanship might also be leading to a better beer. And of course, we would like to do the same thing twice. So we now had a new idea that we really would like to cover the taste of the Han drinker. So we like to find the ultimate beer for specific for Han drinkers. So then we had to start collecting beer. So basically, we scraped the data from check-ins here at the Saloon and in the Lokaal 99 in Arnhem and the hangar, so that we capture the taste and the scoring of the potential Han drinkers. But if you then get the data from Untappd, you basically don't know enough. You know the beers, the ratings, but you don't know really the taste flavor. The tasting of the beer. So if it's sour, sweet, etc. So you need some more information, basically, more data. So we got the data from this Beerista site, and then you see also the fruitiness, the spiciness, sweetness, etc. About 12 parameters about the taste flavor of the beer. We also learned from the first iteration that you shouldn't combine things from different beer styles, then you get very strange combinations in your recipe. So we defined 15 beer styles, so kind of location in a vector space, and in the end, we created a model for each of these different beer styles. How we did it in the AI perspective, so we created again based on XGBoost a prediction model, but now based on the flavor profile. So within a certain beer style, the fruitiness, the spiciness, etc. And second, then we created all potential new flavor profiles and then predicted the scores again. But the problem is that you then have more than 10 billion options. So we needed to do a little bit smarter than scoring all these 10 billion options. So we used the Bayesian approach for increasing a score based on an existing profile. And even if that was not enough AI, we use also what we call a hop prediction model. So which kind of hops can you use and how does it influence the scoring in Untappd? So that we have a flavor profile for each of the beer style. And then basically we can only brew one beer. So we had to select one and we selected the beer style hazy IPA, not based on AI, but I prefer hazy IPAs. So we chose that one. And we called it the Hanzi Pie. Han, hazy, you can see it, and AI, IPA, Hanzi Pie. And then, of course, we created this flavor profile, and then we get the craftsmanship into place. And here in Nijmegen, you have Brouwtoren. Dimitri is one of the brewers, and actually we told him, create a recipe to get to this end scores of a flavor, of a tasting profile. And he created that recipe. And again, we successfully created the beer. Here it is. The predicted Untappd score was this time 3.8, and right now we are at 3.6. And to be honest, I think it tastes quite well. If you don't believe me based on the previous experience, you can try it later on yourself. But I think it's a good beer. And we did have a nice giveaway at the event. And we actually got in some publication on the television and in the newspapers over here about this beer. So that was again quite successful. So did we achieve my 5 goals where we started with? The first 3, I can say definitely yes. Was it an interesting topic for a TEDx talk? That's up to you to decide. And did we also attract students for studying AI at the Han? Well, I hope so. But to be sure, we do have a very nice master in applied data science and AI at the Han, next to our bachelor on HBO ICT. But this master applied data science, it starts again in September, but spaces are quite limited. But in February, we have even more spaces available. I hope that was interesting, and thank you for your attention.